Hello, friends. Today, I wanted to talk about the power of listening. As many of you know, I am a violinist by trade. I started when I was only 2.5 years old with the Suzuki method, which, for those of you who don't know, it really emphasizes the listening portion of music learning. So young children can learn how to play songs before they ever learn to read notes, or even letters for that matter. And I think that this was very foundational in how I learn and process things. And I've carried that into my adult life and other areas of my life as well, especially as an author. I particularly enjoy podcasts and audiobooks. Not that I don't like videos or curling up with a good book, but really I would be an audio first person. I listen to things, and that's really how I learn the best. So some of my favorite podcasts that I like for writers have included The Daily Writer with Kent Sanders. I also like the Novel Marketing Podcast with Thomas Umstattd Jr. I also enjoy Joanna Penn's The Creative Pen Podcast. But really the one that kind of started it for me was K.M. Whalen's Helping Writers Become Authors. And I started listening to her podcast 3 years ago, and it just rang true with everything she said, everything she wrote. And she really helped kind of, through her podcast, mentor me in how could I start writing again, and how could I fix some of the problems I had noticed in my own writing from the past, especially some plot issues and conflict. I didn't have a lot of conflict in my stories. So she's really kind of been one of my mentors, as well as the other ones I just mentioned, in terms of my writing journey. And what's incredible is with podcasts and audiobooks, it's really like getting an education that you can do while you're washing dishes or putting away laundry. And I think that's been particularly nice for me because I am a learner at heart, and mundane tasks, as many of you know, are kind of challenging for me. So this helps keep my brain fresh and constantly learning. And finally, I was so excited that K.M. Whalen's Wayfarer, I believe it's her most recent fiction novel, came out in November on audio drama. And as of now, I'm not, being paid to say this or anything, but just I was blown away by the audio production. This was with the Sargent Family Productions, and they have such a great desire to provide quality material for other listeners and clean content for people. And it was almost like a movie, but one that I could just absorb, again, while I'm doing my daily tasks, whether I'm driving around to different activities or, like I said, doing my kind of daily house routine. But it just really took me to a whole nother place. She writes fantasy, which I realize is different than me. I write music fiction with an emphasis on romance. But her story really exemplified everything she talks about in her podcast. And I just wanted to say how much I would recommend listening to it if you get the chance, because it was incredible. Her characterizations just really were wonderful, how she kind of has the mentorship roles as well for her main character and his mentor, and then how he kind of becomes a mentor over the course of the story, which was really touching. And I thought that the production of it, even beyond audiobook, they actually had different narrators for the different characters, and the production team wrote their own music to accompany it. So it really did give it more of a film score kind of sound. And this is something that I've been fascinated with for years. It does give me some ideas about my audiobook. If I could possibly include some of the classical music, or maybe play some of it myself in my production later this year. So that's definitely given me a lot to think about. And I just also wanted to give a plug. If you want to learn from the master, she is the one who teaches authors how to write. So you should definitely check out Wayfarer. Even if you're maybe more of a romance writer, there is a little bit of romance in there, but just seeing how she strings her story together and then seeing how it came together in this audio production was absolutely incredible. So I'm giving it a thumbs up. And I also think that more indies, I know the traditional authors tend to have a lot of audiobooks, but I think more independent authors need to try to move into this space. I know it's challenging. I know it's time consuming. and it's expensive. But it really reaches a different audience that maybe wouldn't otherwise pick up our books, but they might be willing to listen. So I would encourage a lot of you, if you are traditional authors, maybe to try to see about getting your publisher to do an audiobook. And if you're independent, maybe consider doing an audiobook or even an audio drama, depending on, your budget. So, and I am getting into narration. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to reach out to me, and I will see you later. Thanks.